Ultraviolet is the debut album from Blau, who joins us here in San Francisco. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the album release.
Thank you so much.
Brand spanking new.
Yes.
And there's a lot of details regarding the naming of it and then what it was involved in terms of making the album. I want to start with the fact that it's your debut.
Yes.
And that you were trickling these tracks throughout the last year and a half or something?
Yeah, almost a year and a half. But the depth of it was obviously with the album release. There's 7 new songs on the album, but there are 5 songs, or 4 songs on the album that were previously released, and those kind of represented the first experimentation, adventures that I had in trying to create something totally new.
Now, what was the mindset when you first started versus when you finished? A lot can change in a year and a half.
Definitely.
Right?
I think that my vision for the album was to create something that was an electronic dance music album, but still had a lot of organic elements to it, right? And so there's a lot of real instrumentation. I'm a pianist, I'm a guitarist. I've played the drums over the years, and I'm not the best drummer, but at least I have a sense of rhythm that, feels more organic than just a simple dance rhythm, right? And so that was kind of what inspired me to make the album, this hybrid of organic and electronic elements. And that was the goal, to just kind of give people something that felt a little bit fresher and new in a world where, not to denounce any other kind of dance music, but a lot of it starts to sound the same after a while. And I just wanted to create something totally different.
So out of all the beginning tracks, from what I understand, Star-Crossed was the eye-opening moment, and then you went from there.
Yeah, so Fire was actually the first of all of it. Fire was the first, but that's the oldest song. That was the first where I really tried to incorporate really organic piano, right? And then it kind of goes into this electronic, crazy vibe in the drop, and kind of juxtaposing those two things was a big challenge. That was the first experiment. And then over the year and a half that I made the album, it evolved. And Star-Crossed was really actually finished in the winter of 2016, but didn't come out until I guess August of this year or something, or of 2017. And so Star-Crossed was definitely the first successful experimentation that I feel like I had, and with the sound, and then I kind of finished all the other ideas in that style. But yeah.
Did you ever think, because you are classically trained, you have a real piano in your home and all these things, right? Did you ever think of using that particular piano and sampling that one? And then
the funniest story of all is that my father, who's here in San Francisco tonight, got me a birthday gift when I was 16. He got me an electronic piano that was a weighted keyboard that can plug into the computer, and it can control any sound in the computer, as well as be used as a performance tool. At the time I was like, Dad, I don't need this. I was a terrible son. On my birthday he got me this great gift, and to this day it's still what I use to make all my music. So
wait a second, why are you a terrible son?
Because I was like, I don't need this, Dad, and it was my birthday and he got me something really nice, and I was like, I don't need this. I have a real piano, right? I can go get it. And I use it to this day for everything that I make.
Now, it's also known that you, along with other electronic artists, are very much into this cryptocurrency. In fact, you just released late last year your own investor's guide to Bitcoin, altcoin, Litecoin.
Let's call it a guide to protect people from making mistakes, right? Because there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of really crazy things that people don't really understand, and a lot of vulnerability for anybody who, whether it's $100, $1,000, whatever amount of money, it's always at risk when you don't necessarily understand the process. And my goal with that guide was to just kind of show all the fans of mine who had an interest but didn't really know how to get involved, what not to do. And so that was kind of the purpose of that. But I will say that I've had a real passion for blockchain tech since 2014, but didn't really dive back in until the middle of last year, when things started to really begin to erupt. And I do believe that there are a lot of applications that blockchain tech will have for specific industries, and not just as a means of exchange or a store of value. There are lots of ways that blockchain technology applies to music, can apply to music, and will apply to music. And I'm excited to be a part of and to watch those ideas develop.
You're doing some things that are very amazing in terms of your charitable donations, and this particular album from Ultraviolet, profits.
Profits, yes.
Going to F Cancer.
Yes, exactly.
Any particular personal connection with that?
Yeah, so in the past year, we raised $200,000 for another organization called Pencils of Promise, which builds schools in Guatemala. We funded 4 schools. I visited I visited once in 2013. That was my first school, and then I went back about a couple months ago to visit the biggest school that we built so far. It was the groundbreaking. They actually finished building it, I think, today. So that's really exciting. And with this album, I wanted to do something new, and a lot of people in my life in the past year were affected by cancer, and I thought, why not, dedicate this new album to something that's really personal to me, and something that I know is personal to a lot of people who are listening. Yeah. I think that most people in this world are at least affected by someone they love or know in some way, shape, or form, at least in the first or second degree, when it comes to cancer, right? Like whether it's someone within your immediate family or a relative's best friend, there's always a degree, 1 or 2 degrees of separation, and I think that it's something that cancer has become such a almost like an accepted factor of reality, and I think it's really important to bring it back to the fact that technology is improving. There's still means of battling something that really creates a lot of personal and emotional harm in families and in people's lives, and that was kind of the inspiration for choosing to work with Fuck Cancer for this album.
It's fantastic. I love the music.
Thank you. That's what matters the most, right? So I'm really glad you do.
I'm glad you're doing the whole balancing act. I think you're doing your family proud by showing that you have some financial savvy. At the same time, you're chasing your dreams and incorporating others. And
sure.
Congratulations on everything so far, and thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for taking the time to talk.
It is Blau, his debut album, Ultraviolet, out now. You're watching B-Sides on Air.
Check it out.